Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I am your host, Matt Cooper, and today I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Dave Azzopardi. Dave, how you feeling, mate? Do I need to ask?
Ignoring the football, I'm okay, but yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting podcast.
Finn Morris, how are you? Are you more the same?
Yeah, I'm just excited to get this out of the way almost. I think, it's been a couple of days now, and you know that you can't quite get over everything until we've ranted about it on a Monday night. So I've been looking forward to seeing you all and, having a bit of a therapy session.
I was looking forward to seeing you too, mate. And Jord has also joined us. He nearly missed his podcast. He's got a bit of a migraine, but I understand, Jord, that you've got quite a lot to get off your chest.
Yeah. I've literally dosed myself up with Nurofen, like funneling down water as much as possible. So if I go off camera, it's to get more water. But yeah, I've got a lot to get off my chest today. So enjoy.
Yeah, strap yourselves in for this one, guys, because I think it's going to be one of those podcasts where we get a little bit emotional. We kind of put the worlds to rights, and then we'll have a couple of fun questions at the end. But until then, it's going to be very, very, very serious. So the big talking point is we've no other game to preview until after the international break. Most of the focus on today's podcast is going to be the 4-2 defeat against Leeds United on Molineux on Saturday. Pretty much a 6-pointer, one we couldn't afford to lose. And of course, in typical Wolves fashion, they decided to throw it all away in a very cheap manner. But Dave, let's start with the starting line. It was João Gomez from the start and also Pedro Neto. Podence keeps his place. When the teams came out, what were your initial thoughts?
Surprised I wasn't completely against the 11. I'm still I'm not a big fan of that starting three. And I think the front three. I like the midfield three. I thought João Gomez getting a chance. I thought he took that quite well. I thought he was all right on Saturday. And obviously quite interesting to see no Nunez again. But yeah, that front three is the one for me. Obviously we'll talk about it more. Podence was very poor. Neto obviously isn't ready, or is he just not the player that we thought he would be? Just ineffective. Other than that, obviously the back four, I was half expecting to see Aït-Nouri in there. I know Lopetegui said he was out for tactical reasons. Not sure if there was a knock in there, but I'm sure he would have used that as an excuse if there was. But yeah, it's just with Lopetegui, as we know, and we've said it pretty much every week. I don't think he knows his best 11, and we still don't know his best 11 yet, because it's just chopped and changed every week.
When you say tactical decisions, though, forgive me if I'm wrong, but was there another fullback on the bench?
No. So yeah, I don't think there was. So
he's obviously left him out for stuff that's not tactical and not because of an injury. He's obviously sending a message to him.
You would have at least one fullback on the bench, wouldn't you?
Especially with how injury-prone Johnny is.
It was something that Bruno Lage used to always bring up about how much you need to change the fullbacks as well, wasn't it? Albeit we were playing 5 at the back. But
Diego Costa was even on the bench.
He's not.
So you think you think he's fitter and sharper? Bearing in mind what he came off injured a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was saying he's going to be out for over like a month, and then he's on the bench ahead of Aït-Nouri. So not a clue what happened there.
Got to be something else going on there.
Yeah.
But Finn, let's talk about the first goal. It's not great defending from Semedo. One thing that I don't understand is that we know that the threat that Notto is a terrific young player, explosive, strong as well, and as end product can probably roast most fullbacks in the league. Why on earth are we not doubling up on him? Because everyone else seems to do it apart from Wolves.
Yeah, everyone else seems to do it to him. Everyone does it to when we're playing someone, they'll do it to Traore as well. So it was very strange. It's another one of those ones this season as well where we had the warning signs. I think it was it against Brighton as well, where the same move had been tried a few times before and then it came off again. It's like, come on, like you're getting warnings. And as you say, it was like that on the podcast last week. I was going to say about Nonto because he actually came from Grasshopper's rival club. So I've always had a thing because he was with them on Football Manager when I played as him. So he was always like a rival player. So in real life, I respect him now, but he was always like the bane of my existence. So Football Manager seems to have got that one right because he is a quality player. But as you say, you have to double up on him. That's what everyone does to the most dangerous player in the team. It's weird that we didn't.
And George, to concede so early as well from And for me, a poor goal to concede, it sets the tone for the rest of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was just shocking. You're almost climbing an uphill battle straight away within like the first 6 minutes of the game. And like I say, you could see the warning signs were there. And it sounds stupid to say, but we probably deserved to be 1-0 down after 6 minutes because Leeds really were pressing us back a little bit. And the defending from Semedo, he's just not good enough. It's just completely not good enough. He's literally stood a couple of yards off him, showed him to the byline, showed him where all the space is, and literally Nunez just said, thank you very much, got to the byline, put it back for Harrison, and it's quite a simple goal, really. And for me, we weren't switched on in that first 15 minutes or so. You could probably argue we weren't switched on for the 90 minutes in some periods of play. But yeah, that first goal was just terrible. But I think the defending gets worse as the goals go on, to be honest.
Overall play, I don't think we played that. I know we lost the game 4-2, so we obviously played badly enough, but I don't think we played that badly in possession. But it was individual errors such as that, such as Johnny, which we'll come on to. You could even have a look at Sarr for the third. Adama deciding that if he just puts his arms down by his side and shrugs his shoulders, then the ref stops play. Individual mistakes like that are just, when you're fighting amongst it, completely unacceptable. Don't think that we actually played that badly, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, if you sort of take your Wolves glasses off and actually like almost view the game as a neutral, defensively, I think both teams are absolutely atrocious. And I think, especially that second half, the way that Leeds still defended when they were only defending a 1-goal lead, if they were coming up against a half-competent attacking side, they would have, been in a lot of trouble. But our defence, I know we were going for it towards the end of the game, but obviously when Adama came on at right back, the obvious thing was for Adama to attack down the right-hand side. But every time Leeds picked up the ball, it was just like, who's going to be back there? Who's actually going to help out and defend? But yeah, we were all over the shop. When you look at the stats, attacking-wise, we should have scored more goals. But at the same time, we shouldn't have gone, 3 goals down. It was our own fault just to really, really poor defensive play. But yeah, Lopetegui's got to look into that sooner rather than later because yeah, we were really, really poor at the back.
Yeah, and I think the goals from set pieces as well. The goal from set piece may be a coincidence or not, but with Dawson going off, he seems to organise that back line well. And Collins, and as we've said before, centre back pairings are as much about the partnerships as they are individuals. And we know that Kilman and Collins, even after 4 or 5 games, had a good start, but completely fell off the face of the earth in terms of the performances together. But let's talk about the Semedo penalty shout. I don't think it's a penalty. If you look at what Southampton got against Spurs, it's a penalty, but I don't think really either are. I don't know what you lads feel, Dave.
I think it's a pen, personally. I thought it obviously it's very hard for me to see the actual ins and outs from the South Bank end, but I thought it's enough to be a penalty. But again, it's one of those where, as a football fan now, I'm going to a match and I don't know what's onside or offside. I don't know what's a handball and not a handball, and I don't know what's a foul and not a foul, because every single game, every single passage of play, the rules seem to change. But from what I've seen, I think Semedo gets to the ball first and then his ankle's kicked. So for me, it should be a penalty.
George, what do you reckon?
I think it probably is a penalty. However, I don't think it's clear and obvious to get overturned. And I hope that makes sense and not me sitting on the fence. But I don't think Firpo gets any of the ball, or if not, a lot of the ball. But the Pope one the week before was more of a penalty than that one. And we've had worse decisions than the Semedo one. Like, I sort of think it is a penalty, but it's not, for me, it's not clear and obvious, which again, I know it's probably going to piss a few people off who are listening to this. But again, I'm trying to be so like subjective and non-biased as possible here. Like, the problem is, like you said, Dave, is that you just don't know what is or what constitutes a foul or doesn't constitute a foul. A couple of years ago, it was any contact. Now it seems to be excessive contact and force, and it has to be completely clear and obvious, is at least what the PGMOL say. But again, that interpretation changes every week because you see like daft things get overturned all the time. It just feels like we get the wrong end of the stick of it all. And again, there's probably more to come in this podcast about that. But I just think the standard officiating for all teams in the Premier League is shocking at the moment. And I don't think it's just Wolves that do get the bad decisions, whatever. I think it's poor all across the board.
To sum it up with penalties like that, it's like in my, and I'm sure in our like idyllic game of football, the rules, like that's not a penalty, but 10, 15, 20 of those get given a season and 10, 15, 20 of those don't. That's where it's just that inconsistency. So I wouldn't say it's a penalty, but as you say, like I said to you before, Matt, the Southampton one, there's no contact there. You see Salah, Bruno, any of the teams up there getting those, Kane. So it's a penalty in that sense. So it's like, if you can't beat them, join them, but we never seem to get to join them.
So, why do you two not think it's a penalty, though? Do you think he gets to the ball then?
Well, that's what because if it's not, he could have stayed up. He could have stayed up, couldn't he? But in the rules of football at the moment, he's felt the contact. If it's like contact equals penalty, so it should be. But in my rule, that's not. He could have carried on if he really wanted, couldn't he? That's the thing. But we're not getting it either way. So
I don't think the contact's enough for him to go down the way he did.
But it never is it, for any pen?
No, but it never is. But you see them given for other clubs and for us this weekend, not on the weekend before. But so I don't know about you lads, but I'm just getting a bit sick of hearing about it. If I'm totally honest, I'm sick of Lopetegui coming out and saying the refs are shit. I'm sick of Neves and the likes coming out and saying the refs are shit. I'm glad they've stopped the Instagram posts. But the refs are. The referee, the officials, VAR operators in the Premier League are well below par. And we know that. But they're shit for everyone. And we've got to stop using refereeing decisions as an excuse and a smokescreen for the fact that we're in a relegation battle now. And it looks like confidence is starting to crumble a little bit. Like, I am genuinely sick of hearing it because I know exactly what's going to be said. Yes, the decisions are poor. But they're poor for quite a lot of teams. I mean, we even look at the first game of the season when we played Leeds. Sarr comes out and cleans, is it Christensen, the right back. It's a nailed on penalty. Newcastle should have had one against us when Nunez pulled Longstaff back in the second, third game. Like it works both ways. And yes, we may feel that recently that things have gone against us a bit more because they probably have, but the officials are shit, but we've got to stop using that as an excuse. It don't matter if the officials are shit if you go out and win the game.
It's just, we'll take Newcastle then in the last two games. We could play as well as we want, but we weren't given a penalty against Newcastle. Newcastle then get a goal weirdly disallowed against Forest. That's a 6-point swing down the bottom. It's those like big obvious ones. I think it's the apology level decisions that have started to get to people, aren't they? Almost the ones
because it's come all at the same time as well. I think if that Newcastle one or this one was in a few weeks' time, I don't think there would have been the uproar. But it's when we get dubious decisions, it seems like in such a short space of time. I do agree. You know, we were shit on Saturday, full stop. You know, like after the game when I've like looked at it, I thought like we had some awful passages of play and we should have played a lot better. But I think it's when it comes all at the same sort of time, and I think. Both instances, the Newcastle game, for me, it's at 0-0. Their goalkeeper gets sent off. They go down to 10 men. That gives Wolves a huge advantage. And then that game there as well, the game goes to 1-1 if we get that penalty. So I think it's just the timing of the decision. Again, if that was a penalty shout in the 90th minute and we were still 3-1 down or whatever, no one would have given a shit. But it's because of the timing of them all as well. But that, I don't think that excuses the poor performances at all.
Even with the Newcastle game, though, like, the reason why we lost that game is because we weren't good enough. It wasn't nothing to do with the refereeing decisions for me. Like, we barely laid a glove on Newcastle. The goal that we scored was, I thought, fortunate.
But if that penalty got given, which he should have done, they would have had 10
like Bournemouth hardly laid a glove on us, did they? And they won the game. So it's like sometimes you get results you don't deserve. I think it is if anything happened in that Leeds game because of recent things we were going to kick off in a normal week. If that first half added time was added on 2 minutes when there was probably about 10 minutes of stoppages, no one says anything, but it's because of that sort of constant piling up in it. And that was one of the ones that got me more than it should have. 2 minutes.
The one thing Wolves do have to be cautious of, and I think it's come in, especially since Bruno Lage took over, is just the dirtiness and almost petty side of things, not even on the pitch. Because like in the summer, it was the behind closed doors games in pre-season. Having scraps against Villarreal, B team. And then even when Lopetegui took over, there was a massive scrap and that had to be broken up. Like, you're doing that in preseason games, and it's like against B teams. And then, like, officials are going to come into these matches, especially after that one on Saturday, and think, like, anything, as soon as Lopetegui says a word to me, I'm going to book him or I'm going to send him off, because they just won't have it anymore. They won't take it. So we just need to let the football do the talking. And if we did that on Saturday, we would have won.
Wolves have, well, not Wolves, but players and the manager have made it very us versus them with officials. And whether they're subconsciously or consciously realising that the officials, that's how they realise it. So they probably think, you know what? Subconsciously, fuck them. Like, if it's a 50-50 decision, we're going to give it the other way, because all they're doing is dragging my colleagues' names through the mud. Jordan, I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I do to some extent. I think I mentioned it on the fans react. I think the biggest sort of enemy to this Wolves team at the moment is themselves. And we beat ourselves most weeks. We get too irate in emotional decisions. We like you say, this us first world mentality. It doesn't work for us because we're petulant. We I know Lamina got sent off for something stupid, but we do hassle around Harry referees. Neves is always moaning at the referees and the officials. We do that more than most teams. Like, we probably aren't the favourites in terms of with the referees association. We do kick up a stink. Yes, we've had some bad decisions, but I think petulance and all this sort of stuff comes in, and this is like the same thing with kids you played against, grown up as little kids and stuff. People who think they're better than they actually are the ones who are petulant and can't accept decisions and throw the toys out the pram. And that is Wolverhampton Wanderers to a T right now. The players in that squad think they're good players individually. They are not a good team. They are not a good team. We are where we are because we deserve to be there. We picked up 1 point now from Bournemouth and Leeds in 4 fixtures. This team is not a good team. We've got too many prima donnas. Give me 17th right now and gut the fucking lot, because there's so many of them now that I'm sick of watching week in, week out, coming on here on podcasts and trying to defend. I've had enough of them all. And I know I can tell Matt's the same, but I've had enough of this squad. Literally, gut them, bomb them, start again. I just want to, I've had enough of them, to be honest with you. The petulance pisses me off. It's
the chucking my arms up in the air brigade at the minute. Podence, Neto. Not Neto, if he gets the ball taken off him, he thinks it's a foul, instead of getting back, he chucks his arms up in the air. I know there were single out players, but they're the two for me. Podence at the weekend trying to cross turn himself into the ground, and losing the ball and chucking himself on the floor. There's absolutely no way a referee's ever going to give those. Just get on with it. Just get on with it, because we're in a relegation battle, and if we get relegated at the end of the year, it's not going to have an asterisk next to our name saying, but they were outdone by officials. No one's going to care. And none of these players are going to be here to pick up the burden of getting the club back into the Premier League, because they'll all fuck off. Because they won't want anything to do with it. And they're partly to blame. I don't think they're fully to blame, but they're partly to blame.
Yeah. But I was going to say, Matt, I'd add to that. I was just going to say, I'd add to that. You get unlucky in one-off games. You get bad officiating decisions in one-off games. You are not unlucky to get relegated after 38 Premier League football games. I'm sorry.
No.
Over the course of the season. The reality is this Wolves team doesn't create enough chances on the whole, and we don't score enough goals. And it's a complete recipe for disaster. So if we go down, we deserve to go down.
I don't want people to think this podcast is like completely knee-jerk, or they've lost one game. A couple of weeks ago, they were saying waxing lyrical, but I think it's just the uproar that's come around about moaning about officials. For me, it's almost like the straw that's broke the camel's back. Like, the last few weeks, yes, I felt a bit sorry for them because it hasn't gone their way, but now you've just got to get on with it and stop whinging and go out there and win the game. I mean, there's even an argument that Craig Dawson could have been sent off for 2 yellow cards. And I don't think if it would have been sent off, many of us probably would have moaned. The Johnny red card is probably 2 red cards. It's that bad. It's awful. And the Adama one, yes, he's pulled his shirt, but you don't just stop. I know it's very kind of Yudar, but what do they teach you when you're 6 and kicking a ball around? You play to the whistle, don't you? And he's just stopped.
Yeah, but they also teach referees that a shirt pull's a foul. So it's like with all the stuff, it's a chicken and egg thing, and it's like,
But I'm
like with it with
like,
all this. But
how big? We know that a shirt pull isn't a foul though. Like if you're being dragged down by your shirt, it's a foul. But if it's a little tug, then the referee's probably going to give it. And that when it comes down to that unconscious bias, they're probably thinking, or in the back of their mind, Wolves have been tossers to us the past few weeks. Have been very loud in the press. When it's a 50-51, it's now 51% in favour of Leeds. Because I think, being away from Wolves fan, if I was a referee and all they're doing was the club bashing my organisation, the press, I'd probably think, I'm not going to...
No, it is. It's 100% a thing because if there is a 50-50 decision, and that's probably why, again, if there was no trouble for the rest of the game and that goal occurred, he probably would have disallowed it. But because he thought, right, at the time, he thought, a player's pushed my linesman. I've been shouted at and sworn at for the last half an hour. Fuck him. I'm going to disallow it because I've been given the opportunity. I'm going to allow it because I've been given the opportunity to do so. But it's 100% a thing. If there are 50-50 decisions, if some bloke's called you, a twat half an hour ago, you're probably going to side with the guy on the opposite dugout.
Yeah,
Simple as
but
that.
we all would, and it doesn't mean it's right, but it happens. I'm not saying
I've been told by a Premier League referee they do that. I won't say who, but so yeah.
Yeah, the players and the club shouldn't pander and be like, you know what, the referees, they get it wrong. But it's pretty much every single press conference for the last 6 weeks. It's all we've heard, and they obviously listened and they've apologised. And yes, they are human. They get things wrong. They're not very good at the jobs. We know that, but they're not very good at the jobs for everyone. So let's just knuckle down, pull our socks up, and get on with it. Because if you go out there and win the game and you go out there and don't make the individual mistakes that we did, and we have attackers who are decisive in and around the area and have a bit of conviction about it, then it doesn't matter because we win the game and it all shrinks to insignificance. You might think, the referees were shit, but it's not even a talking point. But it's just being used as an excuse. But let's talk about the other Leeds goals. I know I've been on a bit of a rant there, but I think it's needed to be said. So changes at half time, Adama and Collins came on. I think the Dawson substitution, lads, I don't know if you agree, it's probably more for protection of another yellow. Because I think even Lopetegui saw that second yellow and thought, bloody hell, like we've rode our luck there. But the Ayling goal, set piece, absolutely ghosting at the back. Sarr maybe at fault. Johnny, João Gomez not tracking his man. Combination of the lot, all just turning around each other, putting their arms out. Schoolboy stuff.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. I've not really watched it back in detail, but it looked like it was João Gomez's man, to be honest. But when you're desperate to try and get back into a game, you don't mind conceding from a set piece as such. As long as it's a good ball in and a good header. But when it's as easy as that, that's just dead frustrating to concede goals like that.
What do you reckon, lads? Who's at fault there? Well, you don't have to single players out, but I know I've just have, but these kind of individual mistakes aren't acceptable.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's not like you can say, I think it's so and so to blame. It's if it's your man. And for what it's worth, I thought João Gomez played pretty well, and I'd say we arguably had control of the midfield. Is the only area where we're probably superior. But on that one, you've got no excuse for that. I haven't watched it back, but I just remember Gomez being the nearest man and Ayling having 5 yards to himself at the back post is ridiculous. I thought that's a terrible game, but he still comes away from Molineux with a goal again. It's frustrating all around.
It wasn't great, was he? But he still comes away with a goal. Jord, second goal, thoughts?
It was I have watched it back, so I'm a bit of a fucking sad sack.
Yeah, I've watched it back as well. I didn't want to, but I feel like if you're gonna try and throw someone under the bus a little bit, then you have to try and get the right player.
Yeah, no, it is. João Gomez is I don't know what he's done. He's goal side of Ayling, and then he's passed him on to the invisible man because you can see he shepherds him off. Ayling just goes to the back post. He's got 5 yards of space. What I will say, Matt, I think it's a bit harsh on calling Sarr out for that goal because it's a couple of yards out. But still, he's got a million. Ayling's got fucking Asda car park to himself, and just to put it in. And Yeah, I think again that's something else that's really annoyed me about this. Like, and again, it's so minor, but it has pissed me off. He's like, Aiding's put the photo on Instagram, and then Robbie Keane's like giving him claps because he did like the Robbie Keane celebration. And like, Robbie Keane was like my idol growing up, and like in the Wolves shirt. And you know what? I'm just like, Robbie Keane, get fucked. Literally, I'm like, you fucking knobhead. So even that's annoying me now. I'm even getting annoyed at my heroes. So it's not even This is just we need to move on.
I'll quick sell him on FIFA for you, George. That makes you feel
whose
better.
photos was Connor Cody was liking someone's photos about us beating us.
Trippier, wasn't it, last week or something like that?
Yeah. I don't really care about that stuff, to be honest.
No.
The mates, innit? The mates. Cody will probably never play for the club again. So why not? But let's talk about the third goal, because that for me is a. It says in the notes, Johnny, what the fucking hell are you doing? Honestly, I've watched it back again and I'm still in disbelief.
It felt like we in the North Bank, Matt. It felt like slow motion, didn't it? Yeah. It was like, what? Exactly what you said. What are you doing? And then, I haven't watched it back, but it looks even worse.
Just like put the ball out anywhere.
He's like trying to shield it, but left his legs wide open. So like Christensen can just like poke his foot through, get the ball away from Johnny and run round him.
But what's he shielding it from?
Fuck knows. Literally, like you said, he's just got to like, even if he just puts it to safety out for a corner, just put your foot through it anywhere. It's just, but like, it's really, really poor, that is. And it's the same. The Isaac goal last week was a really good header, but he was too weak for that as well. Like, he should have been a lot stronger for that as well. So that was just really frustrating. That just sort of summed up his afternoon because he was absolutely awful, I think.
He did pretty much everything in that game.
Yeah. Red card.
The goal he took was fantastically. It's such great technique.
To be fair, the finish is unbelievable. I can say that to him, but that adds like a 0.5 onto his performance. And that's how bad he was.
It was awful. And I do feel for him because before the injury, he was such a good player. Like, for me, like one of the best fullbacks in the league.
100%.
Just the complete fullback. And he's obviously, his knees are shot to bits and he's come back and it looks like he's putting out of his misery. It's awful. But he's probably had a couple, 2 or 3 good games since he's come back from that injury. And you've got to be thinking, if you're Ryan Aït-Nouri, what have I done wrong? This is what I'm saying. If Johnny's playing, he's not playing very well, and Aït-Nouri's not even on the bench, and Lopetegui's saying he's not injured. Something's not right there.
Yeah, he's just obviously a bit of a knobhead, and he'd be on. And again, I don't want to speculate, but Aït-Nouri's obviously a bit of a knobhead, and he'd be on the scenes. He fell out with Larger as well, didn't he? And he's been in the team for a while now, under different managers and regimes. So there's obviously attitude or something that isn't right there. I think with Johnny, like I say, it's such a shame that he is what he is now, because I thought he was, like I say, one of the best fullbacks in the league pre first ACL. Like, come up against anyone one-on-one, I thought defensively he was unbelievable. Defender, never had a bad game. And I don't like I say, the third goal, it was like he was like a girl twerking up a bloke at a Chris Brown concert. I don't know what he was trying to do. Just grinding up and down his thigh, and then and again, like I think Kilman shocking for the goal as well. Like I think Kilman's terrible. Like gives him 2-3 yards space, about 8 yards out. It's so bad. And like again, I'm not Kilman's biggest fan. I've said this for a long time now. But the fact like he's our vice captain says it all for me about this team, because I think he's anything but a leader. Too nice, not anything but a leader for me.
The team show aggression though, but in the wrong ways. Like with the whinging and the petulant. Like you want your team to be aggressive, but aggressive in the right way, like attacking the ball. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a very, very nice team.
This is where it'll be interesting next game with Forest, because of all the shit that happened with them in the cup. You would expect Wolves to turn up to the Forest ground and be fucking bickering and everything with them. So it's a big test to see if Wolves can actually, like I said earlier, let the football do the talking, because everybody listening to this knows that on paper, Wolves are a better team and have better footballers than Forest, but we're just fucking thinking too much and letting other teams and officials get in our head too much. So if they can let the football do the talking next game at Forest ground, that will be absolutely sound. But it's a big if.
Yeah. The comeback, though, I think even at 2-0, if we get a goal, we're right back in it. That's why the third one was such a sickener, because we were, for me, still like creating chances. Because as you said earlier, Dave, that both defensive displays were truly awful.
Yeah.
Johnny's goal taken with aplomb, fantastic. Nice to see Cunha get on the score sheet, albeit massive helping hand. That's the only way we're probably going to score. But created chances, lads. But there's just no cutting edge, or they're just too indecisive in and around the area. I do not get it.
There were a number of times, and I think Cunha had one or two. Jimenez, fucking hell, the one where he was about 3 yards out. It was a great. To be fair, I give Meilbag some praise because I think it's a great save, but you've got to put that in the back of the net. Because again, Adama came on and just completely changed it. But that was only at 1-0 as well. You know, he created a couple of good chances even before they scored from the corner. But just look at the amount of chances we had. A couple of times where Sarabia gets the ball in the right areas, and it's just like, how are you not bringing this down and getting a shot away or getting a shot on target? It was just really, really frustrating. But you know, we've got the second goal. I thought, you know, we're gonna get something out of this game, and that's why it killed. When they obviously scored, I think the red card killed a lot of that momentum as well. But when they scored the fourth goal and all the bickering and stuff, I thought, you know, even if we had a chance of getting something out of this game, the amount of time we've wasted here, just no chance whatsoever. But we played all right, like going forward, you know, passages of play were half decent, but the two things wrong with our team were the 3 at the front and the 4 at the back. Like you said, Finn earlier, the midfield wise, we were all right.
Yeah.
We dominated large parts of the game.
Was class.
Yeah. The fucking front lot and the back lot were absolutely shit.
Well, even I saw stats today because I was saying they had 4 shots on target, didn't they, Leeds, and scored 4 goals. And I looked at the other 14 earlier, and it was most touches in the opposition box. We were top of that. Well. Leeds were near the bottom. So that just shows that both ends.
But I thought Sarabia did well when he came on as well. Like was buzzing around, linked the play well, coming short for it, progressing it well.
It's like a Wolves player though. He does it. They all do that, and then they can't score. So he's going to fit right in.
Yeah, the goal was because I'd left by this point. I don't know. was the goal before the Nunez red, or was it from the Nunez? From
as a result.
From the red card was as a result because Nunez is going mad at the liner about why it wasn't a foul.
The goal itself, played to the whistle. We've already discussed it. That Nunez red, though, and again, coming back to that bias, unconscious bias, it's never a red card for long as I've got hold up my arse. Like, it's just not a red card. But you know what? I will be surprised if they overturn it because, again, it's Wolves that pissed us off, and it'll be the dissent that was shown. Well, you're going to have dissent if you
get sent off for nothing.
There's a couple of ways of looking at it, because there's one way where you think, you know, a sane person knows that he ain't pushed the lino. And with all the apologies they've given us, they think, all right, we owe Wolves a little bit. But then on the flip side, I don't think the Mitrovic incident helped, because they're going to want to start setting a standard now, a precedent in regards to officials. And 2, I bet you'll use an excuse of why is he that far. I think he was just outside the dugout as well, like the technical area. So I bet they use that as an excuse as well. So it could go either way.
I don't think they'll overturn it, and it'll just be like a 2 fingers up to Wolves.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll overturn it because, to be fair, if you look at it, and again, Nunez the linesman's backed into Nunez, but the linesman will argue that he's being crowded by about 4 or 5 Wolves members of staff or
It's not enough though.
No, it's not, but that'll be the counter argument. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think they'll rescind it. I think you can quite clearly see the linesman's backed into Nunez. Nunez hasn't gone to the linesman, but the linesman's backed into Nunez to get away from Lopetegui and a couple of coaches and all that sort of stuff. But the fact that there's contact and moves extremely loosely, like you said there, Dave, like the Mitrovic stuff, and I'm not comparing it to the Mitrovic stuff because he lost his edge yesterday, but they can't give Mitrovic a 5, 6, 7 game ban, whatever they're going to end up doing, which is right, by the way. I don't think you should put your hands on the official like he did. But they can't do that and let Nunez, they're not going to overturn something that would be in the same category very loosely as the Mitrovic one. I can't see him.
Well,
How can you be like they've let Bruno off with them? How can you be surprised at setting a precedent? We're not going to punish Bruno, and then be surprised when it happens, or it happens on like they're saying kids football pitches or anything like. It's like
they made themselves really week in week out. Week in week out though.
Well, they let the Bruno one go, haven't they? And then they've had loads of backlash about it from like grassroots referees, TalkSport, Sky Sports, all this sort of stuff. And again, you come back to this thing of Bruno Fernandes plays for Manchester United and Matheus Nunez plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and you'll see what the difference is. Because,
at least it shows he cares about the club. Go on.
No, the thing is, though, like, when it happened and I saw he'd been sent off for dissent, I put in our group chat saying he's a clown. But when you look at it back, I don't think you can blame him at all. Lopetegui obviously doesn't fancy him anyway, but I don't think he can be blamed for that. I just think they've got the wrong decision, and he's shown a bit of passion, you know. And I think the players at the week, people were maybe criticising the fight and desire. I saw plenty of fight and desire. It's just individual mistakes that cost us. I don't think that the desires are a problem, but just not being good enough. It was the problem, and for me, that's worse.
Yeah.
But if they don't overturn it, it's either a 2-match ban for dissent or a 3-match ban for violent conduct, or maybe even more against the referee. So which one is it?
And that then puts us at 2 unprecedented players sent off, one for walking aggressively, one for getting bumped into. The first VAR thing this season for someone to go over to VAR screen and not overturn it. You've got blatant penalty. So, like, I know we are saying we need to be more
was that the first time this season?
I think it's pretty sure. There's only been 1-2 seasons ago, wasn't there? So, I know, like, we were trying to be all like about it, but the more I talk about it, the more I am like, yeah, I don't blame him for getting annoyed so much. And as you say, shows he cares. Nunez.
Yeah, but
he doesn't want to
just win the game.
Yeah. And that's game. Agreed.
Anyway, the BetMate pot was free to enter for your a share of £50. Now, in terms of talking Wolves' performance, it was pretty poor. I finished just outside the paid places. I think George wasn't too far behind me, but Finn, mate, come on, finished joint bottom. You only finished above him in alphabetical order.
What did I do? I can't remember what I did.
We all went Wolves heavy, didn't we? Yeah.
But how have you ended up nearly? Well, I didn't have any of the sending offs. Well, obviously because Nunez wasn't even playing. But Captain Jimenez is going to hurt a little bit. But I haven't had Johnny. I don't know how I've managed that. I'm quite impressed.
I had Jack Harrison as my Leeds player, to be fair. I think he got 2 assists in it.
I had Nonta, so yeah. Neves did well as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
You didn't have Neves captain, Finn, that's why. Everyone else did.
Possibly, yeah.
Neves does well every single week, though, doesn't he? He's an absolute banker for like 6 or 7 points easily. But big shout out to Slacky9555, who won the pot by 0.5 points, by half a point. So I bet he's happy by winning by such a fine margin. But there's no pot this weekend, obviously, because Wolves aren't playing. But there will be a load of international fixtures on there for you to get stuck into. So why not? If you've not signed up, use the link in the description down below and get stuck into it. They've introduced some new game modes as well, which are fantastic. Go and give it a go. And of course, with all that, be gamble aware. The biggest winners though for this weekend, Leeds United fans, because they have now overtaken Nottingham Forest as the weirdest fan base in the Premier League. Congratulations to Leeds United. We had a lot of questions this week. I'll probably say 15% of them from Leeds United fans. I don't get it.
If we ever win a game, do you ever think, maybe on Twitter, but would you ever think hundreds of Wolves fans would go over to a Leeds United video and comment on it? Because every comment on our videos are all Leeds fans. And there will be on this podcast as well. There will be Leeds fans that won't even listen to the praise that we've given to them, or the fact that we don't agree with some of the refereeing decisions, or do agree with some of the decisions, we should say, but they'll still give a stick. They are a proper strange bunch. And I would love it if them and Forest go down as long as we stay up.
How about if all three of us go down? Would you love it then?
Yeah, it's like you've got to sacrifice ourselves, Dave.
I think I'd top myself.
Only because we've got to play them again next season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like some of the questions that we've had as well. Like, I don't remember.
I don't think
Like,
they quite grasp the fact that it's not against that. Like, I don't like any football fan can see if these decisions that we've had recently have gone against Leicester. You go, oh, that's unfortunate. But they seem to take it as a thing against Leeds, haven't they? It's like, no, none of us said, oh, Leeds have got away with that. There,
they said like we are rattled, but it's a Monday evening and you're still tweeting about Wolves. So it's just woke up and is there still a conspiracy about Wolves? We're not fucking asked about Leeds. Like,
yeah,
you know,
no more games
like,
this season. Yeah, leave it.
About the ref.
I think the most you'd probably see if Wolves win a game, they'd clip up an opposition vlogger, like say the Southampton game, and there was the kid that got the last minute winner. People will do that, and then it's like have a quick laugh for a couple of hours, and that's it. But when it's days on end picking up every single thing, it's very strange.
The thing that probably like epitomised it for me was the reverse fixture at Ellen Road, where me and Dave were recording our post match outside the ground, and some Leeds fan walked past and called us both gay boys.
And then we walked up the street and he was there, like deep throating a lolly. So
yeah, and I had a few choice words to say about him. He absolutely shit himself. He is a little bastard. But yeah, it's been relentless. Like I don't like. Obviously, you like to celebrate a win, but I don't go over. And again, it's not all Leeds fans. It's just obviously the small proportion of them. But I don't like if we win a game. I like to go to the pub and celebrate. I don't sit on Twitter like replying to fan channels, YouTube comments. Like, who's asked? Like, mate, who is asked?
The one at Ellen Road, my girlfriend said the walk from the train station was a bit far and got put on a podcast and clipped up and criticised our fitness. It's like everything gets taken. It's like point evidence explains.
I won't criticise on fitness, mate. She's well fit. I'm only messing, mate. I'm only messing. But yeah, I think for me this season, Arsenal fans, Forest fans, and Leeds fans have probably been the strangest.
Mate, do you see the Arsenal fan within the Leeds fans complaining about the David Luiz penalty?
Oh my god, this gets brought up
like 3 years ago.
I see that tweet more times than this is the best feature on iOS when it's the code that gets sent in. Like,
Will still.
The thing is, this sort of thing, like it's not like mutual, like across a season. Then fair enough, because you might say it balances out, but you can't be picking up refereeing decisions from during fucking lockdown and using that against us.
And the thing is, though,
I'll go and find a decision from where they were in the European Cup or Champions League fucking 20 years ago or whatever and see what's said.
Yeah, but you remember that handball by Pascal Segan? Nailed on.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Remember when Mark the Duke was brought down in 6 yards out? No, I don't give a shit.
The thing is, though, the David Luiz, William Jose thing gets brought up every single time, but it's the right decision. The rules are daft, and it makes the decision stupid because it's not a genuine attempt to play the ball and he's accidentally clipped him. It's a straight red. That rule was brought in if someone gets absolutely wiped out, but unfortunately that's the rule, and it's a problem with the rule. And they still don't get it that it's a penalty. And
remember, I know I've used this word in this podcast, so it's quite hypocritical, but they were making a thread of, I think it was Arsenal decisions, but it was against Wolves. It said, unprecedented situation where Martinelli sent off. When he took out Podence, when he took a throw in, and then two-footed someone, they're going, it's like because no one's stupid enough to attack a throw-in taker and then two-foot someone. I
thought that was unbelievable refereeing, that was.
Yeah, super.
Weird.
Very weird.
So.
Anyway. But yeah, we just need to, like, all I see on Twitter as well is like, Fred from Wolves fans about refereeing decisions. Like, nothing is going to change.
Long thread, though, to be fair, isn't it? It goes on.
Yeah, it is, but like, I don't even watch it because I'm like, I know the shit decisions.
I've seen
angers, yeah.
I heard that Howard Webb sat at home and read that thread and thought things need to change.
Sharon, I need to go back into work tonight.
Yeah.
Because we've got to put a stop.
Vinagre WWFC just tweeted this out. I need to sort it out.
Majestic Neves has spoken, and you know what? It's time for change. We've got to put a stop to this. But I mean, look, the decision that it's shit. The officials are shit. They're well below par. But it ain't going to change. So we just got to get on with it. Because if we've played to our full potential. I know George said we're not a very good team, we're a team of individuals. But if we play to our potential, we shouldn't be anywhere near the position we're in. And
No.
murder ball tactics under Lage, who should never have started the season anyway, didn't help. Bringing in Steve Davis, bless him, for a few games again, didn't help. Lopetegui's come in with big pedigree, and we had that new manager bounce, which I don't think has particularly gone, but needs to find a bit of consistency with him, what he's doing. It's you know, I don't think we can be blaming refereeing decisions.
No, but unfortunately, like we said earlier on the pod as well, football ain't paid on paper, is it? It's we have got good individual players, but you look at there's been a lot of Wolves fans, myself included. You look at the Brentford side or the Fulham side, and you still have more Wolves players in a combined 11 than you would of these teams. They're like 7th, 8th. Even Brighton players, hypothetically or arguably, would probably be pretty split still. But look, they're players a team. They win football games and put the ball in the back of the net. And again, I'll go back to it. If you don't score goals, you're banging trouble in this league.
Any league, for that fact.
Yeah. Well,
thanks, Mark Owen.
There you go. Yeah. If you don't score, you can't win a game. Mark Owen, there you
go. My favourite is that's an unstoppable penalty, but the keeper will feel he could have done better.
That's the top of your comment you'd make with your goalkeeping expertise.
Well, I put Sarah a little bit of fault for the second, but obviously George says I'm being a bit harsh. Yeah. You don't normally keepers stick together, but I feel like I'm just very anti-goalkeeper.
So you always pick out the faults here.
Yeah, I mean, he could move his feet a bit quicker. But, one of the questions is about whether we need a new goalkeeper as well. But let's move on to the questions. So thanks for those who sent in their questions via Twitter and Instagram. There's quite a lot of questions that are fairly duplicated, so we'll try and address a lot of those. So Jack has asked, as it stands, what is the strongest starting 11 we have, as it seems that even our manager doesn't know it yet. So I think we're in agreement that Sarr in goal. Yeah.
Semedo, right back.
Dawson, right centre half.
Yeah. It has to be Kilman. You can't put anyone else in there.
I know George's going to say Collins because he's heavily invested in the young Irishman's career.
No,
he can't go back on it now because he's been.
I'd be interested to see those two together because we haven't seen those two together. Have we?
Yeah, I'm telling you now, lads. Kilman's just not good enough, and that's just the truth. So I'd have Collins, but I understand I'm going to get outvoted. That's fine. It's a democracy.
Are we talking fully fit or what? Because would you put Bueno in there over Aït-Nouri? I'd still have Aït-Nouri, I think.
Yes, I'd have Bueno.
Okay.
I'd be 50. I'll go with you, Dave. I'm 50. I'd go Aït-Nouri probably, so we're split.
Okay, Lamina for sure.
Oh, well, hold on. We need to sort this back four out.
Oh, sorry.
So there's a dispute over left back and left centre half. So me and George say Bueno. You two say Aït-Nouri. I'm happy to give up and play Kilman if we can have Bueno.
Fine.
Happy?
Wait, so
I think Collins should be in there instead of Kilman.
I'd like Collins as well.
Oh, you would?
I'd like to see it. Yeah. I don't rate Kilman that highly. I think Kilman's good.
The strongest 11. I'd like to see quite a lot of things, but they're not going to happen. Like Dave work a day in his life.
I'm not bothered about left back. I think they're both good. Depends on the situation. Let's go Bueno. I'll go with Collins as well then.
Oh, there we go. Lovely.
Sorry, I'd be a shit politician, obviously.
Go easy and have some twisties on. Yeah, go on. So the minute we've got Sarr, Semedo, and from left to right, Bueno, Collins, Dawson, Semedo. Are we playing a 4-3-3?
Yeah, just go 4-3-3.
I think we've got to, haven't we?
So I think we're in agreement that Neves and Lamina are your two starters.
Yeah.
Who's your third? Nunez, Moutinho, or João Gomez? Joe Hodge, Booby.
Booby, yeah.
I'd go.
It's Nunez. It just is Nunez.
I'd go Nunez. Nunez.
I'd say it's Nunez. I think it's more balanced with Nunez in there.
I'd like
And
to say
again-
not João Gomez, sorry.
Yeah.
We've only seen him have one game, and I don't want to hype it up too much after the Jimenez Spurs game. He's been gash ever since.
I thought Gomez was unbelievable at the weekend. I thought he was everywhere apart from the not tracking
And
alien.
Lamina was poor as well, wasn't he? But
Yeah.
But Lamina started in as like a sweeper, didn't he?
Yeah, he played on back three, yeah. Yeah, Nunez, I think.
So Neves, Nunez, and Lamina.
Mm-hmm.
This is the front three where it's completely up in the air. So I think we're all in agreement that left wing is Hwang.
But it could be. It could be like
I
it's.
think
It genuinely could be
Hwang.
Hwang.
Yeah, I think it's Hwang as well. I think genuinely.
Hwang on-
I think here. I think it's best we just name our front threes, and then we
Okay,
just
and see where
see where
the
we
winner.
get to, or who the common denominators are. Go on, man.
Okay. My front. I'm the host. Go on, George.
Oh, you want me to go? All right, so I'm going to go. And again, because I've said this on the pod for weeks, I know that people are going to slag me, but I'll explain it. If I'm starting a football game, fully fit, I'm going Sarabia, Cunha in the middle, Hwang on the left.
see,
And
Traore
Traore is my finisher. Traore is far better off the bench than a starter. And I'll have that argument with anyone. So that's why Traore is on the bench. However, Traore probably is our biggest goal threat, in my opinion. So I still wouldn't start him.
Just following on from George, our best performance this season, Liverpool at home, was Sarabia, Hwang, Cunha. So there is an argument for it, and it also included that sort of Nunez asymmetric Hwang out wide Sarabia. So I think if we're against a bottom half team, I'm going 4-2-3-1, and I'm going Cunha, Jimenez, and then probably Sarabia, Hwang, because I like that link up with Cunha and Jimenez. But if we're just going for a 3, I want to get him in there, but
Beg your pardon.
I'll listen to this on audio. He's all right, by the way.
I think Jimenez, Cunha, Sarabia, possibly that worked well at Fulham as
You're
well.
just trying to shoehorn your boy into the
Yeah,
start.
we played well at Fulham, I thought, with that.
Yeah.
It's played
Finish,
well.
Finish, mate. Finish absolutely.
He's not half.
Finish,
Yeah, I'm
get
going
rid
to
of him.
shag you.
He's
No,
Mexican.
I'm going with that.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. We've seen it once and we got a draw. It's a dub.
Okay, that's
So
fair
what's
enough.
your
Everyone's
front
got a bit.
I think I want to see more from Hwang. He could have potentially get in there, but I'm going Jimenez, Cunha, Sarabia.
What world are we living in where Hwang is in George's strongest 11?
All right, it's how bad it's got. But I genuinely think
He was unreal in that game, though, wasn't he?
I genuinely think since the World Cup, and again, I know he's been injured and stuff, and he got injured again. I think he's been really good.
The praise
So-
should be as loud as the disrespect, George.
But I like I said before, I haven't gone completely 180 on him. I still think he's got a first touch like a trampoline. But he's quite effective. So yeah, that like I say, I think I'm quite comfortable with my front three.
Dave?
Oh, man. I'm probably going Cunha, Jimenez, Sarabia.
Yay!
Same as
Yeah. I like. I think with Hwang, that front three, Hwang in there as well. I know Jimenez. Yeah, I'm not. Jimenez isn't the best goal scorer in the world, but I just genuinely can't see the goals in that team.
How about we take Nunez out, put Cunha in the 10, and we've got a spare space for a winger? This question's going to take a while, isn't it?
I think we've looked better when we're 4-4-2.
Yeah. To be fair, that Liverpool game was the best we've looked in a long, long time. So I am, I don't think we're ever going to agree on a full 11.
No. Amar's music show has asked after the Leeds.
Why?
game.
Here we go. Look at that.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you, mate? So I think Hwang, Cunha, and Sarabia, which is
Yeah,
what me and
split down
George
the
said.
middle.
You two said the same
we're
as well, didn't you?
We're not fighting over it. No, we were both Jimenez in.
So let's agree. Sarri in goal.
Grabber and Cunha are both in.
Sarabia and Cunha are both in, so it's either Hwang or Jimenez. Jimenez.
You're right, Bilson.
All right, Jim.
Jimenez.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm happy to get Hwang out for Jimenez.
I've always said that.
Yeah. Jordy happy.
I'd rather play Traore over Jimenez.
Yeah, but this is a democracy. It's 3 versus 1.
This is
man.
democracy.
Democracy.
No. Look. This is a 21st century, and it's a democracy, like we said. So we'll have to start with Jimenez up front. Just know that you're all wrong.
So we've agreed that Talking Wolves' strongest 11 is Jose Sarr in goal, Hugo Bueno at left back, Collins, Dawson as your centre-back partnership, Semedo at right back, Nunez, Neves and Lamina in midfield, and then your front three is Cunha, Jimenez and Sarabia.
Do you think this is a bit harsh on Kilman or not?
I don't
No
really
shit.
agree. Yeah, we'll go with it's a democracy team that.
There we go, next question.
Lads, I promise you, he's rubbish. Just watch. Honestly, go back and watch some extended highlights. He's
think-
not very good.
Depending on what league we're in, George, do you think he'll be our starting centre half next year if we're in the Prem?
No, it shouldn't be either. Like if we okay, like I know there's all these clamours and stuff for him to be playing for England and stuff. All of a sudden, Craig Dawson's played for 6 weeks. Everyone's all Dawson for England now. It's Cody for England. Like Kilman is not better than I can name real off. Even when everyone's saying he should play for England, I'd rather have Ben Mee, Tarkowski, Pinnock, Dunk, Webster. There's so many better English. Honestly,
you know Pinnock. Isn't Pinnock Jamaican?
He's English, isn't he? I think he's English born, isn't he? I think you're fine.
Oh, man.
This
could backfire massively on me here.
I'm pretty sure his FIFA card is Jamaican.
Where's Morgan in all of this?
Ethan Pinnock. I think
he's representing Jamaica. Good. Yeah, I was really scared. I had to search that quickly because I thought that was going to backfire on me massively then.
Yeah. So where was he born? In Jamaica?
He was born in England. No, he was born in England.
Oh, yeah. So he's done an Andre Gray and a Mikel Antonio. So he could have played for England. There you go.
Yeah, he played for England C team back in 2016. Yeah. So.
Kilman goes on a amazing little run every now and again. Everyone's like, oh, look at him. He played futsal for England. How good is he? Bloody blah. He's a centre half, and he ain't very good at being a centre half. And that
Pinnock's
anyone wants to have a chat with me about it, fine.
29.
Yeah, I'm shocked at Ethan Pinnock being 29.
He's done a Kilman, to be fair. He played for Dulwich Hamlet until 2016. Mad rise.
Good for him. Amar's music shows us after the Leeds game is the first, not great English. This is the first time this season where I think we might get relegated. If we do, does Lopetegui stay? I think he does.
Well, does like a little bit of a Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's what I think as well.
Because, yes, he won Europa League at Sevilla, but he left really under a bit of a cloud. I know the fans still appreciated him, but didn't do very well towards the end. Comes straight to England, takes the team down. I think he'll want to stay and rebuild the reputation.
I think he'll stay as well.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he would, but I don't know whether that's just like blind optimism. I don't know. Yeah, we'll say he will.
But is it optimism if he takes us down?
Great point.
I just think we go down in the Championship. Neil Warnock, 12 months. Who says no?
Oh, get in. Not me.
Sharon.
Who says no?
Mike Allen has asked his top 4 now out of the question.
What, top 4 of the bottom half? Yeah.
Probably so. It's probably mathematically still possible, though. Adrian has asked, do you think Totti deserves a chance over Collins? I like his aggression, and he gives his all when given the chance. I'm not a big fan. But I think he could maybe, because he's left-footed, isn't he? I wouldn't be adverse to giving him a shout over Kilman for the balance.
Yeah. I don't think he's been atrocious whenever he's played, but I think you can still tell he gives me
kicks when he has the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played well in the cup, didn't he? It's just with the ball at his feet, that's probably worse than Kilman and Collins. But if you're playing a 3, you could give him more of a chance, but probably not yet.
But you're shoehorning him in because there's another defender next to him.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're probably not a very good centre half.
Yeah.
Cozza has asked, so far my season ticket has cost £25 a goal in the South Bank. What's the worst value for money you have ever experienced?
Probably when I had to pay for them scooters in Belgium. I fucking paid for it, never went on it. So.
But that was your fault, mate. Because you couldn't. We hired some electric skin out of Voy used to have in Birmingham. We hired those to get away from a few youths in the train station who were causing us quite a bit of bother. And Dave just couldn't stand up on it. And like, I'm not fantastic on a bike, but I don't know if you've ever been on these scooters, Jordan, but they're quite easy to use. Like once you get going, they're fine.
Yeah.
And Dave just could not stand up.
I've got dreadful balance.
Yeah, I'm not good with balance either.
Yeah. So
what's the worst value for money you've ever experienced, Jordan? Your barber?
No, I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to think of something quite bad. I would say Ocean Beach Club in Ibiza was a bad
you've been there?
waste of money. I have been there and I fucking regretted it. I went once, I'll never go back.
Did you have a picture with Wayne Lineker?
Absolutely not, no. It's very pretentious in there. It's everything that you think it is. Just people that pool parties where no one even goes anywhere near the water because they want to look all glam. Drinks overpriced, average music, knobheads, weekend millionaires. Yeah, just do not recommend it.
Finn, glowing review.
I haven't got anything to that level. I don't think. I'm looking through my photos to see like if there's anything I've spent money on that I regret, but I can't. Got a picture of Patrick Catrone. Does that count? I actually have as well.
That's probably correct. Yeah.
Gonzalo Gedge.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Probably wool shirts as well if you buy one at the start of the season. I'll tell you one. Matt. Because I went in the club shop at the weekend. I got that Wolves Castor hood. The big Castor logo with the Wolves thing. And they normally they sold out in like 5 minutes the first time. So mine was wonky. And I never returned it.
Your said can't score on the front, didn't it? Instead of Castor.
It says Wolves actually, but it's the same thing. But yeah, it's wonky. So I thought, well, I can't return it because there's none for them to exchange it because they're all sold out. And they put them back in stock, and now it's too late for me to return it. So I've ended up with a wonky hoodie for £65, which still, to be fair, £25 a goal, he probably still beats me. But that one annoyed me this weekend.
I'll probably say mine was. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Vegas, but I had a meal in the Mandalay Bay. For my birthday, right at the top floor on the bar. I mean, like lovely setting, but I think it cost us about $150 per head, and it was like a microwave meal. It was absolutely gash. And then it was like £18 a beer. So yeah, that was the worst value for money. But the view was nice, so probably not as bad as the Castor hoodie. So. Daniel Mitchell has asked what is going on with defending set pieces lately. We've been punished the last few games, but have been lucky perhaps before that. I think Dawson helps a lot in combating that. But
we're a small team on average.
We are. I always think
we're a small team. So you think you think normally your biggest player, your 2 centre halves, but then in the case of Newcastle, you had Dan Burn to that. Other teams you have 1 or 2 big central midfielders. Newcastle had Isaac as well. So we're just quite a small team on average. So that's one thing again that maybe needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it's only really Jimenez, isn't there? Apart from that, Traore is good defending set pieces. I think it doesn't really matter where he can't head a ball properly, but I think he attacks the ball well. Got a great leap on him, but apart from the 2 in midfield, the 2 at defences, you are a small team. So, Adama number 37 was asked. Lopetegui didn't get a lot wrong on Saturday. Johnny played as No-8 Nouri, and we were and we were the better side. Poor finishing and abysmal defending. He can't really control. Agree or disagree?
The end bit, poor finishing, abysmal defending. He can't probably control as much, but the 8 Nouri thing's his fault, so that one doesn't really count. And I'd say Podence and Neto were wrong calls But yeah, the end bit I agree with. He can't do it for him, can he? But I still think he got a few bits wrong. I can't say there's been a team sheet in a long time where I've gone, yeah, that's what I would have done. But yeah.
I'd add to that as well. I completely agree with what you said there, Finn. I would add to that as well that I think that Lamina, Nunez, and Joe Gomez as a midfield three at home against a relegation rival is nowhere near offensive enough and nowhere near brave enough. As well as Joe Gomez played, I don't think it's as offensive enough for me, and I think he's a little bit naive, personally.
Yeah.
XREM17 has asked, do you think we need a new goalkeeper for next season? I'd imagine. I don't think it's like top of my wish list, to be honest.
Nah, depends who's out. I don't think you go out of the way just to do it. Goalkeeper's such a hard one normally. You'd have to go to a top team and obviously more than likely a starter from another team to make a big upgrade on Sarr. So again, I don't think it'd be top, like you just said, it wouldn't be top of my wish list, but we'll wait and see.
He gives me kittens personally, but he's been a lot better since the World Cup. I think he massively overperformed last season, and I think he has leveled out a little bit in terms of actually what he is as a goalkeeper this season, which is a decent Premier League keeper who has got a rick in him, in my opinion. I do agree though, like to get a good goalkeeper, you're gonna have to spend money, and we've got bigger priorities this summer.
Alfie Brownlee has asked, is Fabio Silva our best number 9? I think going off form this season, you'd have to take a claim that he is.
Possibly.
If you're going off goals, he's 20 times better or 25 times better than all of them. So,
be interesting to see what happens with him next season, because I think part of me obviously wants to give him a chance, and I think he could be the starter, but it's a big step up again. I think if we're still in the Premier League, it's a big step up.
Aaron has asked Pedro Neto, why is he anywhere near the starting line right now? In his starts he's been anonymous, then hooked at half time. I think it boils down to the same problem under Lage. You play him on the right, he's ineffective. He's not cute enough to play inside. He's best getting down to the byline and whipping a ball in.
Yeah, he kept trying. He was doing my head in. That was on Saturday. He was, every time he got the ball down the right hand side, he tried to cut in every time.
His right foot's good enough to stand on. That's about it.
Yeah, no, but even if you get wide, just drive down the byline then, as in like drive down towards goal instead of cutting in. Like he did against Southampton during lockdown. You know, when he cut in and then he opened himself up and curled it in. So I understand you want to build in fitness, but I would rather start with somebody that you know you're going to get a good impact from for like 60 minutes and then worry about bringing him on. I wouldn't start the game with him.
I think that the end of that question's right as well, isn't it? It's an area where we're stopped, so it's not a position where we needed to rush him back. So he makes a good point.
I don't think he's that good on the ball.
No, I don't either.
I think he's quite limited's harsh. But you get what I'm trying to say. He's like, you look at compared to like Sarabia, who he's just technically, and he gets a lot of stick. I'm not sure why. Like technically, really gifted with the ball at his feet, doesn't really put a foot wrong. Whereas Neto is your explosive, fantastic for counter-attacking football, great at getting to the byline and whipping the ball in and committing defenders. Not great in possession. Do
you argue that he was again during lockdown the best player in a very bad bunch? And that's 100%. What sort of
Helder Costa syndrome.
Yeah, almost that sort of thing. So now he's almost set himself a really high standard, and then had 2 pretty long-term injuries, and it's going to take him a long time, I think, to get back to that standard.
Yeah, I don't think he was You are right, but I still think it wasn't just he was good in a bad bunch. Like I think he was better than that. The injuries, we don't know what impact that's had on him, but it's like with Nunez. If you keep playing someone in the wrong position, they're going to not perform.
Yeah. He's much better on the left, for sure.
I think there's an argument to say he's just not that guy anymore.
You're not
he's
that guy,
no. But no, I just think he dislocated his kneecap, didn't he? And then he had another injury, and they're really tough injuries.
No, it was patella, I think. I think he shattered the patella, which is even worse.
Patella is your kneecap in it?
No,
Yeah,
it's
isn't it?
underneath. It's a tendon underneath your kneecap.
Same
I didn't
thing.
know that.
I'd say it's the same thing.
But anyway, yeah, I just think those sort of injuries for someone who's a very dynamic winger, it's going to just hinder you a little bit to be able to the game. So I just don't think he's going to be what he was before, unfortunately.
You are right that it's the bone above your kneecap, but I thought he'd done the patella tendon. But that makes sense if he did. Did he shatter his kneecap? Or I think he shattered it, didn't he? He shattered the patella.
It might have shattered if it's the patella tendon. It might have shattered the tendon, and
I don't think you can shatter it. I mean,
well, you know what I mean.
It's like an episode of Holby City.
Anyway, yeah. Basically, he fucked his knee up, and
yeah,
there you go.
He's been playing out of position, but
Remember when Nuno played him with that big strap around his knee? Was it against Fulham?
Fulham away, yeah.
Oh, bro. And everyone went absolutely mad.
Not great. Last question is from Jack Jippat. Top 3 holiday destinations.
Should we say places we've been? I mean, we can't just make it up, can we?
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. But you go. Yeah, but you might think, oh yeah, I like the look of Florida, but you never fucking been, have you? We're talking summer holiday or just general,
Any destination. Stop
New
thinking
York.
too much. Just
New York.
Recency bias, that is.
Yeah, no. New York. I think Vegas. I've done Vegas. I think it's worth going to. I don't think I'd rush back there after I've been there once, but I think it's worth experiencing. And big bias here, Malta. Treat yourself.
Whereabouts in Malta do you recommend? Valletta.
No, it's only about as big as Wolverhampton. So wherever you stay, make sure it's a half decent resort. Very little sandy beaches to try and get near to one of them. So
I reckon your two choices, Finn and Jord, are going to be like extra.
These are mad. Yeah, I can't wait.
Go on, Finn can go first.
If we're just with Dave saying does it have to be summer holidays, one that I didn't do in summer, which I think everyone should do, is the Ice Hotel. That was unreal in Sweden. And they build it, it melts, and then they build it back different every year. So it'll always be a different one. But I've done that as a one-off. And Iceland as well was unreal for that type of holiday. But we went dead early on. Apparently it's dead crowded now. But when we went, yeah, it was lovely. I love my little south of France. We drive down to the south of France like every other year, like right on the border. But Florida was unreal apart from like you turn on the news and it's like some mad gunman running across roofs every day or whatever, and it's like it's a bit scary. But like actual Disney and Universal and that are unreal. Maldives is top though. Literally you go out into the sea and it's just like a rainbow. It's just a rainbow.
Anywhere it hasn't been.
Yeah, I'd go Sweden for the Ice Hotel. South of France, you can't beat it. And yeah, Maldives just for the sea. I'm not a sea person, but you got there, it's like Finding Nemo. Literally like Finding Nemo. It's like picking out all the ones from Finding Nemo.
So I've looked at the Maldives, but it's got 14 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good for I need extra leg room, put it that way. It's tricky. It's like you have to get a plane. It's normally to Dubai. So you get a plane to Dubai to the main island in the Maldives, and then a seaplane, one of those proper scary ones. My mum's not good with flying, let alone on those little ones where the pilot just walks through with his flip-flops on and a fag, and he's like, all right, guys. And yeah, it's tricky, but it's worth it. It is worth it once you get there.
Jord, Antigua up there?
I should probably say yes, shouldn't I?
As soon as you get married there, I'd hope so.
We haven't been invited.
No. I've told you this before. No one's been invited to anything yet.
For what it's worth, we wouldn't have come anyway. So
well, there you go. That's good. There you go.
I was busy watching Forest Wolves that week.
So I would go Costa Rica #1 by a long way. Costa Rica was unbelievable. I was there for 3 weeks. Travelled around the island. Just beaches, nature, just everyone's just really chilled out. It's just a really good place. I recommend it to anyone. Costa Rica. I would go with Iceland as well. Reykjavik. I like Reykjavik a lot.
Did you eat any shark, Jord?
I didn't eat any shark.
The only bad thing. Oh mate, that's awful. But apart from that, it stinks of egg everywhere.
Yeah, the sea does smell a little bit. Yeah.
Apart from that,
yeah, it's a nice place to go. Different. And then I would probably say, I would probably go with. I'm not going to say Antigua. I'll save that for next year as an answer. But I would go with Riviera Maya. I quite enjoyed that.
Oh, that's where I'm hopefully going in September.
I've
There
just
you
been
go.
as yeah. That was my outside shot. I didn't
Where's
put in as
that?
well. Gem will be angry.
Right.
That's the only one.
Mexico.
Mexico. So it's like about an hour and a half from Cancun.
Yeah, it's unreal.
But
Oh,
it's
Cancun.
Cancun. Yeah, they've got a lot of. I really like they've got loads of like different experiences and stuff. We went to like a spider monkey sanctuary. Ziha was really good, which is like a natural like water park, super good as well. So I'd recommend it. Yeah, the cenotes and all that as well. So yeah, I'd go with
And a wonder
Riviera.
of the world. If people are looking to tick those,
Chichen
it's only
Itza.
2 hours from Chichen Itza. Yeah, that's good.
I just realised I should have said Tel Aviv, but that's Tel Aviv's good as well if people want to go.
Yeah.
Don't listen to
Up
the
the
news
work.
all the time. Up the work.
You like the birds in Costa Rica, don't you, Jude?
I like to be honest with you, I liked everything in Costa Rica. Yeah, the birds were great and everything else was good.
They've got like the toucans, haven't they? And
Hey,
Come on, Costa Rica.
Go on, Lee.
Oh, I think that's a fitting way to end the podcast. Gents, I'd say it's been a pleasure. It hasn't because Wolves haven't won, but I've still enjoyed it. Chewing the fat nonetheless. Podcast next week or not? To podcast or not to podcast? There's no game to review. There's a game to
There's
preview.
no Cody in the squad. Let's not do it.
Yeah.
No, let's leave it. Well deserved, well earned break. I mean, I've just come back from a little break. Oh, I haven't done my top 3 destinations. Vegas, the Algarve, Villamora. And
Right.
I'm not one of these golf wankers like Jord, but it's just unreal. Jord will vouch for that, won't you?
It's unreal, and the golf is unreal as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd probably say Budapest for a city break. Cheap, can
Interesting.
be quite warm, lots to do, lots to see.
Benidorm.
Benidorm.
Horrific. Oh man. Oh, we have Wolves doing the old South Korea tour as well.
They won't be doing that if we go down there.
No, yeah, definitely not. I'll be interested to see if we stay up. There's the summer break as well. I'm keeping my eye on. See where it is. But I don't think they'll ever top in terms of places. Like I don't think they'll ever be able to top Benidorm unless they do that again. Unless they want to retain the what cup was it? What was it called? No one knows. It was that irrelevant. So, yeah.
Sticky Vicky.
There was a cup. What? Last summer there was a cup.
In the Benidorm, yeah, we won the trophy.
Did we? I didn't even know there was a cup.
What was it called now? What was it? The place called Alicante. I keep calling it Alcudia, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Alicante. It was the.
No, it's a terrorist organisation for Afghanistan. They were.
What was? I can't even think what it was called. Thing, but yeah, we won some sort of cup.
Let's just call it the Sticky Vicky Shield for
For
the name's sake.
I don't even know what it's called. Yeah.
Just before we go, I know it's all doom and gloom, but if we are to go down, which I don't think we will, from that match day squad on Saturday, who stays?
The 11 or the
No, the whole squad. Does Jose Sarr stay?
No.
Does Nelson Semedo stay?
No.
Does Craig Dawson stay?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably.
Does Max Kilman stay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does
Probably
Johnny
not.
stay?
I think he gets sold.
No.
Does Ruben Neves stay?
Yeah. No.
Does Joao Gomez stay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does Mario Lemina stay?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
I think Gomez would go and Lemina would end up staying just because of age and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know.
Does Daniel Pedent stay?
No.
I fucking hope not.
Does Raul Jimenez stay, or Jimenez, as he's most affectionately known?
Be the hero. That would be lovely, but probably not.
I don't think so. Be mad if he would, but I don't think he will.
Does Pedro Neto stay?
Nope.
Possibly.
I don't know. I think he'd give us 6 months. Probably not though.
Does Nathan Collins stay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Mateus Cunha stay?
Got no choice.
No.
I think
We'd
he'd
have
go
to loan him out,
alone,
wouldn't
but
we?
I think it's a really weird situation. Yeah.
Does Pablo Sarabia stay?
No.
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 Totti?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Daniel
Got 4
Bentley,
centre halves there. Get him.
Yes, Dan Bentley
Yeah.
stays.
Yeah.
Mateusz,
No.
No.
Joao
No.
Moutinho,
No.
No.
Diego Costa contract extension,
No.
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 Adama Traore contract extension,
No.
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 Julian Lopetegui.
We've got about 6 players there. Get in.
He got 4 centre halves and a
Yeah.
João Gomez.
You think Fabio would stay?
No.
No.
That'd be what a season that'd be. Get 40.
I'm still not convinced Fabio stays in the summer anyway, even if we stay up. So I think he, like I said a few weeks ago, I think he comes back saying, "I want to be here, but I want to be his first choice striker," and I don't think we're in a
We
position.
blame him.
Anyone guarantees? No, I think he'll be off.
Hmm.
In my opinion, anyway.
Let's see.
Interesting. Dave, where can people find you should they wish to follow you, mate?
At Dave as a party on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, obviously.
The big one. Finn?
Finn is everywhere. FINERRZ, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Trying to stay. I think for a week now, I think I'll stay off Twitter just because the last few days.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah. So, but you can follow me if you want. There'll just be nothing there.
George?
So it's Dazzling Dave. No, it's George was 7. Instagram, Twitter, and of course LinkedIn. I'll do actually. When I've said Dazzling Dave, I think it is what the Leeds fans are doing. I think it's unfair, and the Wolves fans, leave him alone. He's doing his job. He wants to do what he wants to do.
We've had it
Let
do
him
it
his
for,
thing.
man. Yeah, no, it is peak.
No.
He's not hurting anyone. Let him do his own thing. That's fine for me.
I was going to bring it up, and I agree. I have to just let people, like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Just like scroll
Don't
past.
comment.
Like, I don't like vlogging. Finn, no offense. Like,
Sorry, mate.
I don't really find
I've
it
done it
that
in about 3 years.
Yeah, doesn't matter anymore. I don't find it particularly entertaining, but it doesn't make my blood boil. Like, if people want to do it, get on with it. Like, it's fine. Let people do what people want to do. So
Speaking of blood boil, George, what are your thoughts on Podence just posting a picture of the bicycle kick that he blasted into the North Bank?
He hasn't.
He has. It's on his Instagram and he's
Has
linked
he?
to
Well, has he? Well, if he'd have fucking headed it across the box to the 4 open guys, 5 yards across the box from what he scored,
Why is he
honestly,
posting that?
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. Get rid of him. Honestly, he pisses me off. I don't want to see him in a match day squad again. I don't care. Well, he didn't score, did he? He put it in the fucking fruit and veg aisle at Asda. Move on.
Why do they post? If I lost the game, I would not post a picture. Why are they posting pictures?
He's done like numerous pictures. Let me just have a look for.
Yeah, but they're all like pointless. There's one of him dribbling on the ball, or Bicey, one of him looking into the distance, and then one of him doing a post-match interview. I've gained nothing from it.
Yeah. Has he put a picture in there of a completed pass? I don't think so.
There's no motivational quote either. Bed.
To be fair though, he very rarely posts a caption. Okay, maybe he does. He hasn't done for the last 2.
3. Yeah.
Oh well. What a lovely thing to end the podcast on. I'm Matt.
Sorry, everyone.
Well done, Finn. You've got him started again now. He was calming down.
Literally, my blood pressure just dropped back down to normal now. I'm back again.
Go for a nap. Yeah.
There's been no jibes about his missus either this week.
No, I know. Well, she's away this week as well. So yeah, there you go. Home alone. No Last of Us. Bed.
Straight to bed.
Straight to bed.
Where is the missus this week? She's working away.
Yeah, she's on a project management course in Leeds. There you go.
Oh,
Leeds.
not Leeds.
No, not Leeds.
After all we've said about Leeds.
Yeah.
Anyway, M Cooper writes on Twitter, Matt Cooper Bites, YouTube, all the other socials. We are talking Wolves across all social media, including LinkedIn. If you are a Leeds fan and you've got to this stage of the podcast, firstly, thank you. Secondly, why?
Thirdly, get a life.
Please don't leave a comment because we don't really care. However, if you have enjoyed the podcast, do drop it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. And until next time, which is probably going to be after the Forest game now, unless there's a clamour for another podcast in the comments. Hopefully we're coming back with 3 points on the board and pictures of Gibbs White in tears. It's unlikely. Probably pictures of us 4 in tears instead. But until next time, enjoy yourself and take care.